We're
Welcome,
live.
welcome everybody to the Watering Hole podcast with Novelty and Sir Brian Hattrick. We're coming at you live on what is it, Tuesday?
It's Tuesday, 8/8/2023.
All right. We are live on Meet Me. We're just going off on a couple tangents and a couple topics we were thinking about.
Well, as our normal blend goes, we kind of stumbled through a bunch of conversation throughout the week, and we're gonna take you on a ride. So it'll bounce kind of all over the place today. I think that why don't we start with the disclosure?
Well, we actually have our personal alien doing all the post-production of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We have a personal alien slave that we're making him do all the dirty work, all the heavy lifting. That's why this podcast is just sounding so much better now, because we have our personal alien slave engineer.
So we actually got this before we got a driver. Like, come on, man. Like, what's up? Where's my personal chef alien?
He landed in Brian's backyard in his UFO, and he said, "Hey, buddy, I noticed you've been doing a podcast. Do you need some help?" And you were like, "Of course." And what's his name? Freddie?
Yep. Freddie Lester.
That's what he called himself, Freddie. But he's a good guy. He's helping us out. I don't know if I should call him a guy, because that's kind of... I don't really know what gender he is, or he or she is, but they're helping us out with some post-production engineering work, and that's why we're getting more episodes out now, because we have a personal alien slave.
Yes, he is cooperating for the time being, but we have to hope that our supply of flaming hot Cheetos and oddly enough, it's Little Debbie snacks.
He always asks me for Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew?
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I got him hooked on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, he's always asking for it every morning. "Where's my Mountain Dew? I'm trying to get some work done."
I got this headache.
He's addicted.
Stupid shit like that.
So we got to go to the gas station, get him some Mountain Dew, some Flamin' Hot Cheetos once in a while, Little Debbie snacks. But
it's pretty much all we've fed him.
Yep. He's very picky. I even tried to make him a nice steak one night, and he was just like, "What is this? I don't like this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You can't enjoy the delicacies that humans enjoy?" And he's like, "No, I only need high fruit." He's fueled off high fructose corn syrup and processed carbohydrates.
In my planet, we only have processed food.
I think all he needs is sugar and carbs. That's all he needs.
Well, it's probably our future, so...
Yeah.
Look, America, while you can.
Especially now that all the land is being bought by the elites, and there's going to be no more real food anymore. There barely isn't. You got to go to like a local farm to like get real food.
I like how you said, now that all the land's been bought by the elites.
I mean, it has been, but it's getting worse. Like the idea of starting your own farm, it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Buying land in general, because they're moving everyone to apartment complexes, so they're more on the grid, in the cities. True. But anyways, we were talking about a wide variety of topics earlier. I don't know if you want to get into the whole family structure topic. Otherwise, if you got any other topics you want to.
I wanna finish talking about the disclosure because
Okay.
particularly this alien disclosure in quotes has been pressed upon people specifically to create a stupid polar argument, right? So now it's people blindly saying, "Oh, this proves everything all along was the way," but they're not looking at the facts of what's actually being put out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nobody in Congress is saying anything. They just had to sit and listen. And you can get a congressional hearing for just about anything. Like they just are allowing people to speak. And so I think that this is further puppet show being put on for the benefit of no one else but the people in power.
Exactly. And, some of these names that they have and these, since when were they allowed to videotape court hearings, Like it's becoming just more and more common nowadays. And all of the, dare I say, psyops, hopefully that doesn't whatever. So hopefully we don't get censored about this because, we are diving a little bit deeper into some conspiracy, some people would call. But honestly, I don't see how people think any of this is real. Some of these names that these people have, I mean, you think that's a real name? And even with professional sports, some of these names of these players, it's just becoming more and more fantastical as the years go on. With the more and more they can just get away with, because I feel like people don't care as long as it's entertaining. And they just make memes out of it, and it's all a joke.
That's very true. And really the culture is exemplified by our celebrities, and they create basically false identities for themselves for the benefit of making people believe that these are legitimate ways to act. And
Mm-hmm.
and well, there is magic in it because that behavior, it will transfer onto others. Everything that you see becomes imprinted on you in some way.
Absolutely.
And how much it affects you, the any number of variables can determine that. But overall, we're being hit all the time.
Yes. And, they say, like, for TV, like, for example, you go to a commercial, which the commercials are getting out of hand nowadays. How many fucking commercials do we gotta watch? It's like, even if you have Hulu and you're paying money per month, you gotta watch like 5 commercials if you're watching a fucking movie. It's like, so it's like, okay, they bring you to a commercial, which is programming. Um, a trend I've been seeing with the commercials that are on most, is always talking about ED and erectile dysfunction, car commercials, mostly like pharmaceutical commercials, things like this. Um, and then they bring you back to your regular programming, which is, these actors, they get paid to basically program a mass community, and what is funny, what is, trending, what is funny and entertaining in the world, new lingo, things that people can make memes out of and profit from. It's really just a giant programming is what it is. It doesn't matter that you have all these streaming services now. You don't have to pay for cable anymore, but you're still going to get hit with the commercials, and you're still getting even if it wasn't on these streaming services, it would probably be on TV, but that's kind of like a dead thing now.
Yeah. It's totally, I mean, it takes a lot of work just to come out here and try to make an effort to inform people when we're already looking at kind of a long battle that's been happening. And really, I do it because I feel like we live in the most fascinating time ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some people are, they just see it as being hopeless and they don't even try.
I would say that it is like a huge, if we're going to look back in history, this time right now that we're living in, they're going to talk about this for centuries. There's so much going on with the whole, pandemic and the settlements that are coming from people who thought a piece of cloth could protect them from a deadly disease that has a 99.99% survival rate. And now these companies are paying people out that were mandated to wear these pieces of cloth over their face. And then we're getting whistleblowers now about child trafficking. We're getting whistleblowers about the mandated and incentivized Fauci ouchie. It's turning out that it's really affecting people's health, and it's something that we should all be concerned about and spread awareness about, because your family members that get this, it really can affect them. There's just so much we don't know. This whole thing is just it just reeks of stuff they're not telling us, basically. Like, it just reeks of foolery, and it's about time that they're gonna do it. They're gonna be like, we fucked up or whatever. But like, you knew, if you did your research from the jump, that this shit would not work, and everyone just does it.
Well, I don't know. There's something about, like, you can't know what is ancient unless you know your ancestors. And all of us have been separated from our ancestors, which is a huge part of the effort that happened a long time ago. And they continue to try and separate us from any sort of culture that really will bring us back to who we are. Mm-hmm. It's wild. In fact, when you look at the Epcot like World Land, I forget what that's called, something World of Tomorrow, or it's a big world out there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They have like a miniature example of different countries in like these little shop districts. And anyways, the whole thing about it is that's the way they want you to picture the culture. Mm-hmm. That's Disney trying to cement a historical narrative, even about culture. And there's something really trippy about some of the Fallout games and the way they kind of play with that, because it happens all the time in our reality. We just don't see it, and it's not written about in our history books. So you have to like really be scrounging to understand that sometimes the best way to cover up history is to just be a really good story writer.
Right.
And the better of a story writer you are, the more you're going to be able to control things. You know?
Look at the etymology of the word history. It's his story.
Mm-hmm.
So if you control the books, the history books or whatever, and you program a whole mass of people by generation, you program everything that everyone knows, because the things that you teach children when they're younger, at that age, they're more susceptible, they're more, they say their brain's a sponge, like you can program them easier when they're younger. That's why they try to get people into the military right after they graduate high school. You know, it's one of those things, like, your dad, growing up, he was always like, little Johnny, you shouldn't be getting into fights, because that's not good. You're going to get in trouble. But then he gets into a fight. Let's say he beats up the bully of the school in the hallway. And then all of a sudden, next day, he's got a man dressed in a military outfit. And he says, "Listen here, sonny boy, we think we can do some real good things for this country. We know you like to fight. Not only are you going to fight, you're going to kill people, and we're going to pay you for it. Come on, the country really needs your help."
Yeah, it's pretty insane that we really don't keep these recruiters out of schools. They'll start talking to 16-year-olds to get them excited ahead of time.
Yep.
I remember doing push-ups for these guys, and they make a sale at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really brutal way to let somebody start their life, and I don't agree with it. For a choice for anybody who's a young person.
It's just like anything that is forced upon people, that is incentivized by the government, should not be trusted. I mean, I remember like 2 years ago when everyone was getting these Fauci ouchies, they would like literally just go to a farmer's market and there would be trucks where if you got the Fauci ouchie, you would get free school supplies for your child. And you'd get a pound of meat, or like whatever. Like they were like literally like paying people to get it. It's like, at what point you're literally selling yourself out at that point?
Well, all right. So here's a couple of things I've been thinking about for years. Like, I don't think that it's patriotic to vote necessarily. I think expressing yourself is patriotic as fuck. So why wouldn't not voting, if you thought that was meaningful, be actually important? And but then, like, we do this to other things too, where we're just told the same thing over and over again, and then out of politeness we reinforce it to others. And so we're like, hey, stop talking shit, you're not supporting our troops, when somebody's not caring about the war. And it's like, hey, like, can't you like still care about the troops but really hate the war? Isn't that possible? Like, can you not make that about attacking people as individuals for making their choices?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not even saying like you guys are stupid because you should have never been offered the chance to go and risk your life in combat. That's the whole point. Like, I'm supportive of you guys living.
Yeah. It's like, I see how people get into that position, because I almost did it myself when I graduated high school. The only reason I couldn't join, they wouldn't take me into the Air Force because I had gauged ears and I was on antidepressants at the time. They wouldn't take me. So I see how.
So they were worried you were gay. He's got gauged ears and he's on antidepressants.
You're not allowed. Apparently, you're not allowed to be on any medication if you get accepted. Because
it's true, you can't have had a diagnosis that questions your mental health at all.
Right.
Even if you didn't take medication, if they found out that somebody said you're bipolar, done.
Yeah. So yeah, luckily they denied me, and I'm glad I never went. But yeah, it's. I see how a young man could fall into that trap. Because if you think about it, you're taken care of for the rest of your life once you do your time or whatever, and your whole family is taken care of, and you get discounts, you get all this shit. You know, you get to go travel around the world, and they're like, well, hopefully I don't die. Which, I don't know. What would you say the majority? I wouldn't even say the majority survive. I would say it's more like a 50-50 shot if you survive.
Yeah.
Even if you do survive, you got like PTSD and all that shit.
Hey, fun fact: none of us are gonna make it out of this planet alive.
Definitely not. I mean, unless
none of us will survive this life.
The aliens.
It's a fucking one-way ticket, guys.
The aliens are gonna keep us eternal. They're gonna take us up to their planet, and we're gonna live a happy life up there.
And answer me this, Lord Xenu. When we get our eternal blessing from the aliens, are we gonna be flying around the planet making other humans think that we're like aliens, but we're actually just ghosts creeping on humans?
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to make them scared. You got to take on the responsibility. We're next. They're recruiting us now. We got to take on the next responsibilities. They're getting sick of doing it. They're like, we need help.
All right. We have more of the Lord's work to do tonight, so I'd like to actually take some time to bring on our next guest. It's real special to me. He's definitely a real scientist and not a guest speaker that just gets paid because he sounds good talking. And real science goes behind this man's words, not books that he's read. And I think he's a swell guy. So let's give it up for Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Woo! Neil. Mr. Tyson, how are you today?
Good evening. Throughout the ages, humanity has looked up to the stars and wondered about the vast mysteries of the cosmos. But today, we tackle a question that perhaps more pressing than the existence of dark matter.
Wow.
Black holes.
Now, sorry to cut you off, Mr. Tyson. I heard a recent article about some pedophiles in the stars. You think they're up there?
That's a strange and fascinating question. We're going to have to get back to that at the end of the show because I don't even fucking know it. You broke me, dude. You fucking broke me. I'm taking a piss.
Alright, we're gonna take a short intermission here. Pedophiles in the stars. Oh, it never gets old. The pedophiles in the stars, ladies and gentlemen. They're up there. They're in the stars. They're touching children. That was a callback to the last episode if you guys haven't listened yet. But we're going to let Mr. Tyson, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, give his lecture. And I'm going to stop interrupting. But that was just something I had to ask him. It was a pertinent question. So we're going to let Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson give his lecture, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, give me a second.
He's getting his notes prepared.
Fixing this shit.
This is a very pertinent and informative message that he's going to deliver here.
Damn. Just stick to the script. Just for this. I mean, improv, but like, come on, dude.
No, I can't open the script because I'm on Meet Me, and if I open up Facebook Messenger, it's going to kick me off my left.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't need a bigger introduction.
I can't see the script because I can't pull it up.
It's okay. It's basic. He just goes into some nonsense. You can.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. There's just one part for a narrator, and it goes, "Tonight on Cosmic Revelations with Neil deGrasse Tyson, we dive deep into one of the universe's most perplexing and unsolved mysteries."
Wow.
Good night. Good evening. Throughout the ages, you.
Good night. Start it off with good night.
Night.
That's how you start on this. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Throughout the ages, humanity has looked up to the stars and wondered about the vast mysteries of the cosmos. But today, we tackle a question perhaps more pressing than the experience of dark matter, black holes, or even extraterrestrial life.
Wow.
Tonight, we ponder, why do socks disappear in the laundry? Much like the universe, your washing machine is a vast and mysterious entity. There are obstacle laundry. There's observable laundry. Oh my god, I can't do it.
Focus.
Much like the universe, your washing machine is a vast and mysterious entity. There's the observable laundry, the clothes we see and wear daily, and then there's the dark laundry. Dark laundry, unlike dark matter, is the socks we once had but can't seem to find anymore. They're not with their pants. They're not under the bed. And they're certainly not in the other dimension we sometimes suspect our lost items go to. But could they perhaps be in another galaxy?
Boo!
Our top scientists have come up with several theories. The black hole sock theory posits that at the center of every washing machine is a minuscule black hole. You might think of it as just a as a lint trap. But have you ever looked inside? It's vast and indefinite, sock consuming.
Boo!
Another fascinating idea is that sock entanglement, much like quantum particles. Once two socks become entangled in the vast cosmos of your laundry basket, the actions of one will affect the other, no matter the distance.
Boo!
Perhaps when one sock is worn and the other is left behind, they become out of sync. The fabric of space-time within your washing machine gets disrupted, leading to the inevitable disappearance to one of the socks. Or maybe, just wait, it gets better. Just maybe, they're simply behind the washing machine or under your bed. But when you're not observing it, you don't know it's there. But where's the cosmic fun in that? So, the next time you pull a pair of socks from your laundry, remember, the universe is vast and mysterious, and sometimes it just wants to mess with your laundry day.
Wow.
Join us next week.
What a great
on Cosmic Revelations.
Cosmic Revelations.
As we explore the baffling physics behind tangled earphone cords. Good night.
Good night, night. Cosmic Revelations. Cosmic Revelations. Cosmic Revelations. Cosmic. It's cosmic. And it's revelations. Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely enlightening.
He's really worried about losing his socks. How many socks does this guy lose a fucking week?
Right? And that's just in one universe.
He seems like he's losing a lot of socks. Everybody should send him some socks because he seems like really paranoid about losing socks.
What's the sock company? When you order a pair of socks, they give them to poor people?
Bombas. Yeah, Bombas.
Or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, everyone donate some socks to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He seems like he really needs it. Tell him to get a new laundry machine too, because it sounds like his isn't working too well.
Maybe he made his laundry machine into a quantum accelerator.
It's possible. Did you ever hear that one thing he said where he was like, the reason why I don't have a case for my phone is because I would never drop it. And he was like...
Just rich person. He was saying, you know why you spin a phone? Because if, like, a military man spinning a gun learns never to drop his gun, I'm like, yeah, but like a gun's like way easier not to drop. It has like knobs and stuff.
It's got a fucking thing a hole you can put your finger in.
Yeah, and there's like a whole load of techniques. Like, there's no like good way to like justify spinning a phone unless you're rich.
Yeah.
You know why I spin my phone? Because I don't care. Because I got Neil deGrasse Tyson money.
Right. He's just, I bet you him saying that just got all the cell phone companies a lot more money from people buying new phones after it got cracked. And
After they were spinning them. Oh my God. Because the smart man advocated for it.
He goes, the world isn't round. It's actually an oblique spheroid. It's been spinning around so fast that it's not round anymore. It got wider on the edges. So now it looks like almost like a cosmic pear.
No, he's an interesting one because he does sound informed.
Yeah.
For parts of his, most of his stuff.
But
he's just a professional speaker. And
Right.
Actually, I think Bill Nye is more of a scientist than him.
Actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson's a failed actor. Is actually exactly what he is.
Yep.
That's okay. He was a failed actor, and now he's taken on this role as a science. I'm Mr. Science. Let me tell you what's going on in the world.
Yeah, there's a thing right now going on where people are drawing attention to even the TED Talk community for just not holding their scientists accountable. And basically, they would just allow anybody to come and speak if they had money to put on stage. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of them are full of shit. And sorry, but I gotta say this real quick because they're talking now about how NASA is faking footage. And even Bill Nye the Science Guy said, you guys need to understand, Earth is a closed system. We cannot escape. He said that. And now they're showing all this. There's a big whistleblowing thing going on about NASA, about why we should be giving them our tax dollars, how they fake footage of them being in anti-gravity. There's water bubbles, there's hidden strings, hidden cords and stuff. There's a lot.
Supermassive planes that can do dives.
Yep. And they're doing CGI too with the green screen. It's only a matter of time before NASA gets exposed. If there's a way that I could, I mean, quite frankly, I love giving NASA my money, my hard-earned money, but if there hypothetically was a way to stop doing that, I would.
Yeah.
Because I think they're all full of shit. And they want us to believe in like all this fantastical shit. You know, we're programmed from when we're kids in school. This is what the universe looks like. This is where we are. We're on Earth. This is, you know. And people are always fascinated with this idea that there's space and when there's something outside of us. But what if we were just living on one giant territory and there's no way for us to escape? And all the, government people are telling us now that aliens exist. It's just the programming they're doing, man, with the AI and the alien shit all at once.
What if the government's always planned on just trying to make people more united by the idea of space? That's always been there. All right, so sure. The initial space race and everything, after it happens, it actually represents something positive coming out of rocket technology, which is arguably the worst technology, right? Mm-hmm. So it's literally alchemy too. When you think about it this way, it's mind blowing because you're taking the most destructive, awful type of thing, and through wizardry, turning it into a symbol for amazing human achievement.
Right. But hold on one second. The thing that you're leaving out there, I see what you're saying. But the thing is that in a lot of movies with aliens in them, they program us to be fearful of them, that they're trying to destroy us. So it could go either way. It's like a 50-50 shot. If the aliens come here, they're either peaceful or they're trying to kill us all, basically. So they leave that window of like fearness. That's how, like, they want people to kind of fear it, but also be intrigued at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Like all of a sudden we're gonna have, you know, even if they do see it in the sky, like how do you even know what that they have the technology with aircraft and Project Bluebeam and all that. They could easily fake any like any sightings that people are seeing. Like it wouldn't even be that hard for them. Our tax dollars are going towards it actually, so
Yeah. And there's something about the way that movies get told and then the things reflect later on in your reality.
yep.
The power of storytelling, like we have to realize, and then we have to like get our sci-fi people to start writing a more positive outlook on the future, because it's what determines the thought space for what inventions can be.
Very well said. I agree. A lot of people, that's why they say that, a lot of people that write these movies, they've already sold their soul because they are given a they're saying that we want this movie to be like this and you're going to do it and we're going to pay you this much and keep your mouth shut. So it's the same thing with sports. It's the same thing with Hollywood, all this shit. All these people are being paid to do something that affects our culture and what the masses believe and what programming, you can't even put a price on that, but they're paid very heavily because think about it, like sports, people get very passionate about sports, people get passionate when they see movies and they think that like this is actually how people are and this is how our society is. It's not. This is all a fabricated story that is profiting off of you because you are being hypnotized by this programming.
Yeah. And even when I see things like the Aaron Rodgers getting on ayahuasca, discovering things, I'm very suspicious of the whole thing as an inner psyop itself, because
Yep.
Honestly, like it's going to the most extreme level,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not giving any real good warnings to people about how it medicinally, like it is put out there in a way to be idolized, and it's like honestly, like it's not for everyone in today's society. Like I actually think that like tribal people can handle it better than us because they don't have as much craziness to think about. Like our world is so much more complex than a tribal man, than that. Like our trips are like all kinds of ego nightmare to fall into in comparison, that some people cannot overcome. They won't get to the free zone because in the West, we grow our minds so far into this vast society that we've built that you really have a lot more insanity to get through before you have a breakthrough.
Right.
And for a tribal man, things are much simpler.
They're just trying to find their food for the day, go hunting, come home, eat, make love to their wife, take care of their kids, watch out for predators.
A Mormon. I'm not Mormon.
Mormon. Um, I was just gonna say, like, I think they're doing a lot of.
Okay, you want to know about Joseph Smith? Joseph Smith came from a family of artifact hunters, and it was actually a practicing magic user, and the religion is founded knowing the principles of how reality can change. But there's also something really trippy where he did know some fucking like parts of the hidden history of America are there that he was playing with, and there's something really trippy about that. And except for like he gives credit to like tribes of Israel, which I mean I'm not discounting, but like I believe the Moors to be more prevalent, and the Moors are actually just Phoenicians. Phoenician is just an order. It's not a nation. And when like if you look at Wikipedia or any place, like it'll be like Phoenicia by like Persia, and like they orient it in a specific area, but that's not true. That's not where the king, like there is no kingdom of Phoenicia like that, and like it's actually their like priest order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like somehow with the stuff Joseph Smith talks about, like he knew that like names of things in America were intentionally picked based on their ancient names that they were way back when this place was fucking Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something really trippy about that. And like I even like Alabama is like Alibaba. It's an Arabic name. Alabama.
Alibaba.
Alibaba. Like it's an Arabic sounding name. Arizona, Aries, like the zone of the Aries. It's also an Arabic Phoenician sounding name. There's a lot of craziness about to be said about how old history goes back in America, and the fact is that you can't recover it because of the types of purges that have gone on. And I like this is something that like I'm like uncovering and like getting closer to, but like I was just like told parts of it, and like we're not the first melting pot, like at all. Like we're just the most recent iteration, and like at the point when the globe starts coming together and making a melting pot, that's when the Tower of Babel is coming back together. And that's like the metaphor is like essentially as a global society, we really do network, and we go higher and higher and build this big tower, and like the tower is our society, and like managing that society has its obstacles because it just gets higher and higher. The more people and complex ideas get involved with society, it just becomes unobtainable. The whole metaphor of the Tower of Babel is the collapsing of society again, because you just went too high.
Yeah.
Florida really trips me out, big gamer. There's a podcast you should check out called Old World Florida. They're fucking crazy awesome. And they're on YouTube actually. And like Florida is probably most of the major peninsula is like one big artificially created barrier, like land piece. It was created to make an ocean break, and then like because the other side of Florida from the Pacific, where the Gulf is really storm protected, and amazing. And then what's trippy is that that section of Florida, the whole peninsula, it's very similar limestone to all the limestone that Giza is leveled with, but is supposed to be just the natural bedrock, right? And like, this is one of the things that you find consistent in these like global sites where they call, oh, I can't get another person in my box. It'll kick him out. I'm sorry. But if you have a because I'm on my computer. Where was I, Alex?
Should we wrap this up because we're at 50 minutes? Should we just close off on a topic and then?
I'm on a good track though.
Okay.
I'm on a good track. Okay, so but like that peninsula in Florida has the most the most water sources of freshwater springs of any other place in the world per square mile. And it's entirely because there's some real geoengineering going on there, and which brings me to this like greater like there are a significant number of springs that get called natural that are not natural out there, and that is a whole topic for another time. But that's kind of the direction. Like, dude, Florida is trippy as hell.
a lot of meth heads out there.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up with like one more topic and then, because we're almost at an hour, maybe we can do like just one more topic.
Old World Florida, the podcast is called, and yeah, we can go to another topic if you like.
We'll save the old world Florida for another episode.
Yeah.
Let's close it off with a little bit about. I don't know if we have many women listening to the podcast, but don't sell yourself short. You know, it's just ruining the family structure and, quite frankly, our view of, for a lot of men, it's ruining our view of you. You just, it's kind of like the Barbie movie. Like, you're just kind of like a plastic figure, and you're like, what was I made for? Because you're not really doing anything in our society. You don't have any real skills. You're just selling yourself on the internet and, you know, creating offspring, profiting off of it. And it's really not, is it benefiting your life? Because it might be, you know, pretty nice for a while, but once your looks fade, what do you have left?
That was another hot take from Alex.
Yeah, and it needs to be talked about more and more, because every time you just go online, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, every female just has a picture of themselves taking thirst traps, posting them online, getting money from random people in their DMs. Do they get off on this, or is this just their nature? Are they just profiting, or is this really what this is just in their nature to do this?
I think that it's really survival mode. There's a lot of people out there that just can't get themselves out of it, or don't know they're in it. And if you're in survival mode, there's only one way that you're ever going to be able to think, and it's about yourself.
Right. Now, the self is so out of all the 7 deadly sins, pride is the most glorified one. Would you agree?
I don't know. I feel like lust is pretty amplified. I don't know.
Yep.
What do you?
Well, here's the thing: is as we progress through the years here, I would tell you that gluttony is being acceptable. Lust definitely, and pride. I would say lust, gluttony, and pride, and maybe sloth, because people are like they have a reason to just stay home and they don't want to work, you know. And then you could say wrath, which is also being programmed to us, that people think it's okay to just, they think that these things, these staged, you know, acts of violence are what people do. And really, in reality, we should not be a culture that is violent toward each other. It's not going to help us at all. So,
Yeah. I always find it a little funny. It's like, how mature can our people be if their parents can't help but fight, you know, in war?
Mhm.
And it's like, why is it that governments think it's okay to go and start shit?
That's kind of like the example I brought up earlier. It's like if your son gets into a fight at school, you're like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. But then there's going to be a guy from the military trying to recruit him at the same time. So you're not supposed to fight. We always tell our kids not to fight. But then there's people that are offering them money to not only fight, but potentially get killed and kill other people.
But he just took my 40K.
Woo!
Thank you. My true 40K.
So yeah, watch us on Meet Me, and we're also on YouTube. We put out our podcasts on YouTube. It's called the Watering Hole Podcast. It's still in the developing stages, but we think we finally are onto something, and we're gonna try to put out episodes as much as we can. Uh, if you're a fan, like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow us here on Meet Me. Feel free to donate if you really enjoy our content, and we're going to try to just get this cracking because podcasting we both enjoy, and we're going to try to get this going.
For sure.
We're just scratching the surface of a lot of topics, and it's going to take hours to talk about all the things that
we're just having fun too.
Yeah,
all the time. We're trying to make this not depressing. So we're on a mission to break it in with some laughs.
Yeah. There's definitely, you got to have some comedy element to everything. Even though a lot of the topics we might discuss might be something that is uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah, so we have the attitude of a cancer ward.
Yeah.
Gotta laugh, people. Gotta laugh.
It's like Patch Adams, like Robin Williams,
Our country might be dying, but we're still laughing.
Thanks everybody for listening, and yeah, we're gonna try to keep these episodes at like an hour. I know we're just starting, but look forward to this on YouTube. Probably have it uploaded tomorrow, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you.